To one and all, certainly it's a pleasure to be in the house of the Lord and seeing all that's come out to worship the Lord in spirit and in truth. And I know it's kind of tough today. No lights on, no air conditioning, but shiny sky, shiny sun in the sky and the blue sky, and we got our health to be thankful for. So we got a lot of things to be thankful for, especially Father's Day being today. I want to wish a happy Father's Day to all the fathers out in the crowd today, and hope you enjoy your day. This morning, in my lesson, I want to talk about using our gifts properly. Now, everything we receive from the Lord is a gift. Things we don't really think about. Like, I think we all kind of would be thankful for air conditioning right now. We're not really thinking about it until it's gone. It's kind of like you don't really know how much we use water until they tell you we can't use it. You can't even flush your toilets. You can't take a shower. You can't even cook properly. So these things that we were given a lot of times, we don't really know what we have until they're gone. A lot of times we have people in our life, we don't really know how much we really appreciate them until they're gone. So everything that we're given from God, we should be thankful. Whether it's something He's given us, we should take whatever He's given us and use it to the fullest advantage for Him. A lot of times we take what He's given us and we just take it for ourselves. We're thankful for everything we got, we use it, we consume it to ourselves, we don't really share it. One of the things I always remember, I even used this in my lessons before, there was a cartoon. I know some of you probably remember Porky Pig, some of the Merry Melody cartoons. And there was one of Porky Pig. Of course, this one was way back, around just after World War II. This cartoon would have been in the 50s. And the women were going back to work, were helping out the men in the factories and stuff while they were out doing the war. So Porky Pig in this cartoon was babysitting this lady's child. Well, she went to work and she said, if you have any problems, use this book. And Porky Pig looked at the book and it said steps on how to parent a child. So it's at step one, if the child's acting bad, try to calm him down. Well, this child was terrible. This baby, looked goo goo gaga in front of mom. As soon as mom left, this child was tearing everything up. It was doing everything it can to set the house on fire, to tearing it down, to trying to escape. And he's trying his best. He's trying to parent. He's looking step 2. What does it say here? Step 3. And he's following all the steps that this book says. And nothing works. And finally, at the end, the whole house, the baby has tore the house up, is falling down, and old Porky's waving the white flag, And the wife and the lady comes home. She says, "What did you do to my house?" And he took that book and he threw it to her. And he said, "That book is terrible. Your child's terrible. Everything in it had no answers, and it didn't do anything. You told me that all the answers. You told me that if I use this book correctly, that it could help me." She said, "This book didn't work." He said, "No." She took that baby, put him right over her knee, took that book and started spanking him just like that and said, "It works good for me." The thing was, he was receiving a gift and didn't know how to use it properly. We're the same way with God. God gives us something that sometimes we don't know what to do with it. Have you ever seen a dog chase a car? What's he going to do when he catches up to it? Have you ever seen two dogs fighting, barking at each other on the other side of a window? If you ever remove the window, have you ever seen what happens? They just kind of stare at each other. They don't know what to do next. We're like that a lot of times when we receive God's gift. We don't know what to do with it. But yet we still want it, don't we? We want it because everybody else has it. But even if we had the gift, will we know what to do with it? As a kid, you're growing up, especially guys, we're thinking, I want a fast car when I turn 16. Give me a Lamborghini, give me a Ferrari. But it's a stick shift. I have no idea how to drive that. This thing go to 0 to 200 miles per hour in 5 seconds. Well, I can only go 45 down this road. It does you no good. I mean, what would you do with that? You'd have no clue. Sometimes we ask God for the wrong things. We should be asking for the things that we can handle, that we're mature enough to use. Turn with me to Matthew, the 25th chapter. I won't read all of this before we've heard the story with the talents. We've all heard the lesson on that. But Matthew 25 and 14, I'll have it there. We'll just kind of look over a little bit. But if you're interested in reading more of this, Matthew 25, 14 through 30. And this is the lesson on the talents. Well, first off, I didn't know this through last night I was looking at. But the talent that they're talking about here is a monetary value. It's a form of a coin. And it's a form of money. And I didn't know how much it was. And I looked it up. And one talent was almost equal to what a person would make 20 years. So that value was think about what you would make at your job for 20 years, and that's what one talent was equal to. And so that one received 5 of those talents. The other received 2 of those, and another received 1. So the other one that had the 5 talents, he took those talents and he was able to prosper. He was able to net gain more talents. He was able to double what he was given. And his Lord said, "You done well." The other one, he gave 2. He also prospered, doubled it. He done well. And the one he gave 1 to. The other one said, "Well, I knew you were you were fearful that, I was afraid I wouldn't use it right. I was afraid I'd lose it. So I took it and I buried it. I hid it from everybody, hid it from so nobody would take it. That way when you come asking for it, I could give it back." But that's not what he gave it to him for. He gave it to him to prosper and to use and gain him more talents. But he didn't. He hid it. So therefore he cast him out. And this is a mirror image to the way this story is reflecting us with God. God has given us talents, and he's going to tell, what did you do with your talents? And like I said, talents here can mean anything. It's not just talking about money. It's not telling us to go out and become millionaires and prosper. It's using money in a simple way of saying it was a blessing. Even if it's your talent, you could be talented in drawing, you could be talented in swimming or running, whatever your talent is. But you use it to the benefit of God to get more. And if God gives you something, you're thankful, and you try to do better with it. And if we do like this, we hide what we have. If God's given us the ability to speak to other people, given us the ability to teach, and we ignore it, we're burying the talent, just like in this story where the guy hid the money. We're doing the exact same thing with ourselves. God gives us a blessing, and if we hide it, we bury it and do nothing with it, we're not prosperous, are we? We're going to be cast in outer darkness, like in this lesson here that we read. Are we doing right with our talents? Are we doing right with the blessings that God has given us? Are we working hard to double what we have been given? Or are we just going to sit on it and say, well, I should get more? That's what the world teaches you, is more and more and more for your benefit. Nobody ever tells you you're supposed to be doing it for God's benefit. If you're blessed in your life, you have money, help it out for God. If God has given you a great house, invite people over for it. If God has given you a nice place outside to eat, invite people over to come to it. Use it wisely, because as easy as you got it, it can be taken away. We don't realize that a lot. We think that just because we have a good job, make a lot of money, we're always going to have it. It's not always the case. You look at these athletes, they're making millions upon millions of dollars. Any given minute an injury happens, their career is over. Those millions they thought was going to be around forever is gone. Things in our life we got to remember we have to prepare for. It may not always be this easy. It won't always be this hard. It can change. We got to be ready for that change. Matthew 20th chapter, turn me there. Turn me back, Matthew the 20th chapter. And it says there, we're going to read a little bit here. I really enjoy this. This is another story given us to learn from. And I really enjoy this. So let's read here, Matthew 20 and verse 1. For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers in the vineyard. And when he agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. So let's say right here, we know that this man had some work that had to be done. So he went out and he hired laborers. He went and hired somebody, and their agreement was work all day for a penny. Third verse. And he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace. And he said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. So he goes out. It was 3 hours later. He just saw some other people not working. He said, hey, I can use some more help. You want to come over here and work in my vineyard? And we'll square up the money later? Sure, we'll do it. Yeah, go right ahead. Go ahead. There's already people there working. And the 5th verse. And he went out about the 6th and 9th hour and did likewise. So therefore, same during the day, he's finding more and more workers. Every few hours, he's finding more, and he's sending them to his vineyard to work along with everybody else. The 6th verse, and about the 11th hour, he went out and found others standing idle, saying unto them, Why stand ye here all day idle? Basically, what are you doing here doing nothing? You're standing around you're not working, you're not providing. What are you doing just standing idle? You've been standing here all day long. What's going on? You're not doing anything. We all know what idle is. It's not moving. Our lives, are we in idle this morning? Are we just standing? If the engine's running, we know how it is to crank a car and put it in park. The engine idles, but it's not going anywhere. It doesn't benefit anything, does it? Is that our spiritual life? Are we in idle today? We know what we're supposed to be doing. We got the knowledge of God. We got the ability to talk. But that engine's running, but nobody's behind the wheel yet. It's doing no good. So he's asking him a question, why do you stand here in idle? In 7th verse. They say unto him, because no man hath hired us. He said unto them, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall you receive. So he told them, even though it's been 11 hours, he said, hey, go ahead, I'll get you some work. We'll square up on the money later. Go ahead. So the 8th verse. So when even he was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto the steward, call the laborers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. So everybody that worked, whether you started from the very beginning of the day, or even if you came 11 hours later, he gave them all the same amount of money. So let's kind of think about that. We're going to see what happens from there. So everybody got paid the same, even though some worked a lot longer than the others. So everybody received a penny. But the 10th verse. But when the first came, they say, suppose that they should have received more. And they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house, saying, let me repeat that again. And when they had received it, they murmured against the goodness of the house, saying, these last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and the heat of the day. So here's this guy, and then put yourself in this situation. He's saying, wait a minute now, you hired me early this morning. I worked 12 hours. I worked all day in the heat and the sun and done everything for you. You gave me 1 penny. Now, you receive somebody else. They just come for 1 hour. And a couple other people got a few hours, but this one guy here, he only worked 1 hour. He did nothing all day long. He did nothing all the way to the last hour. He worked, and you're giving him the same thing. I should get more because that's not fair. You giving him the same amount of money as you gave me. And I've worked a lot harder than he has. That's not fair. This is what this man's saying. And put yourself in that situation. If you work 40 hours and you get your paycheck and somebody shows up and worked 3 hours and receive the same paycheck you have, you think, well, I done a lot more work than they did. Why am I getting paid less money than they are? So let's see what it says here. The 13th verse. But he answered one of them and said, friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst thou not agree with me for a penny? Take that thine is, and go thy way, and I will give unto this last even as unto thee. So he's telling him, he says, wait a minute, didn't we have a deal? Didn't you agree to work with me for a day and you receive a penny? It doesn't matter what I do with everybody else then. You were in agreement. Now the reason I like this story here, and what I'm giving, this is my opinion of what this parable here is trying to tell us. First part is our heavenly reward. It doesn't matter if you were faithful from the time you were a small child, become baptized, and grown up to be 120 years old and passed, and you were faithful for those 120 years. You are going to receive the same reward as somebody who obeyed the gospel and then 10 minutes later was killed in a car wreck. You were faithful for 120 years, somebody that was there 10 minutes. You're going to receive the same reward in heaven. It's telling us right there. You're not going to receive anything more in heaven. Your mansion ain't going to be any bigger than somebody else's just because you've done a little bit more, during your life. We're all going to receive that same reward. Now, another thing I like about this, what this is telling us, is that a lot of times when we have been received, some say God blesses us with something, we're fine with it until we start looking around at what everybody else has. All of a sudden, we're not as fine anymore. Can you remember in school, your parents would buy you shoes? Oh, I like these shoes right here. Those look nice. We can get these. Then you get to school and you start seeing everybody else's shoes. They cost twice as much as yours. They look a lot fancy than yours. They got all this other extra stuff that they can do. I like their shoes better. Now all of a sudden, I don't like my shoes because it's not like theirs. And you come home upset with your parents. I don't like these shoes no more. Well, why? Nobody at the school wears these. I like, everybody else has this other brand. Wait a minute, this is the one you picked out just a couple of days ago. Yeah, I know, I liked them then. Well, how come you don't like them now? Because everybody else got other ones. I like theirs. Have you ever seen even little small kids? You give them a toy. Oh, they love it. They play with it. You go to another kid that's right beside them. You give them another toy. What do they? Oh, I want that one. They were fine with the one they had until they saw the other one. Now all of a sudden they want that one just because they saw that. Now, adults, we're the same way. We're happy with our life. Oh, I got a nice house. I got a nice car. I have, whatever our case may be, I have a good job. Then you start getting friends. All of a sudden they got a better paying job. They have a nicer house. They both drive better cars. And all of a sudden you're thinking, I should get a better car. I should have a better house. You were completely content with what you had until you start looking around at everybody else. We're no different when we were a child. We always want what everybody else wants. Or we always want what everybody else has. But the problem is always chasing that, is once you get there and you get everything, now what? You're still empty. There's nothing else to get. What if everything was handed to you right now? We'd be content probably just for a little while. Because if we don't control that situation, I love that scripture. We talk about Romans 12:2. We change our life by the renewing of our minds. It's a whole reprogramming. We got to remember, I'm not chasing what everybody else is. I'm getting in this life. If this is what was blessed to me and what I have, I should take care of what I have here. Yes, there probably is something better, but I got to be content with what was given to me now. My whole lesson this morning, please don't think I'm talking about riches and money. I'm talking about what God has blessed us with. Our blessings are going to be different than one or other. Brother Dave has different kinds of blessings in his life than I have in mine. We'll be different. If Brother David has other talents, Brother David has other things that he's strong at that I'm not. I may have things that he may not be as strong as I am in certain areas. But I can't judge my life based on Brother David. Brother David can't judge his life based on me. We got to look at our life and know how good we can do and do with the things that we have. Yes, we may enjoy those things with people. That's the great thing about those things. You can actually enjoy them with other people. You don't have to just sit there and consume to yourself and just get mad. I don't have that, so I'm not even going to talk to them. They had to drive a better car than me. I'm not going to have anything to do with them. How do you think that makes the Lord feel, knowing He blessed us with things and we think it's just not good enough? Same thing you feel when you give your kid something and they didn't like those shoes. Did you just pick them out 10 minutes later? And 10 minutes ago? But all of a sudden now you don't like them. Turn with me to Luke 12 and read one more here. Kind of makes us think back right here. Luke 12 verse 16. Luke 12:16. It says there, and he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, because I have no room where to bestow my fruits? And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much good laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? So as he laid up treasures for himself